the conversations are gonna happen. It's good for women's basketball at the same time, but I think it's hard for people to remember, like, I just love playing basketball. Like, this is my job. This is what I'm here for. I'm not here for all the other stuff. That's not what my teammates are here for either. Honestly, like, I feel like I have a pretty good skill of blocking everything out. I think, being in this position, you better have that skill or else it's going to break you at some point. And I think I've surrounded myself with really good people, whether it's my coaches, whether it's my teammates, whether it was in college, whether it's here.
So Caitlin Clark is very clearly the face of the WNBA. Is she the best player? No, that's A'ja Wilson. Is she the second best player? No, that's Breanna Steward. Is she the third best player? No, that's Napheesa Collier. Is she the fourth best player? No, that's Alyssa Thomas. Is she the 15th best player? Probably not, but it's an argue. You can argue that. You can probably argue we're in the 15 to 20 range purely as a lead guard or as a transition point guard. She's the best at that. She's on a better team. I would say she'd be a near 20 point a game scorer. Either way, the discourse around Caitlin Clark is never ending. It's absolutely never ending. And today she was basically in shoot around. She was asked questions about all the circus that is surrounding her. And I mean it when I say there is a person that cannot... I don't think there's a person that can answer a question more perfectly than how Caitlin Clark has been dealing with all of this and just answering questions in the media. What she's doing privately, I haven't a clue. But at the end of the day, all we can see is what is publicly. And I don't think there's a person that has been able to kind of deal with it and answer questions, especially in the social media era, as perfectly as Caitlin Clark has. So I gotta give her credit where credit's due for that. Before we get on, if you guys are new to the channel, subscribe. We're trying to hit 6,500 subscribers as soon as possible. But anyway, now let's get on to the video. So Caitlin Clark basically just came out and said, when talked about the circus, being like, I want to play basketball. That's all I want to do. I love playing basketball. All the other players in the league just want to play basketball. They're really good players. And she's got a great support system around her. Her teammates, her family, everyone's making sure she can just focus on basketball, and talking about how the team basically just didn't sign up for any of the circus or anything, and that they just want to play basketball too. And that is, a lot of people are just like, oh, she's stating the obvious, but you see in the era of 2024, we're in 2024, and especially when it comes to a Caitlin Clark, because I've always said this, you can't win when it comes to social media. People were calling for her head for staying silent. People were calling for her head for not calling out the crazies. And these are not Caitlin Clark fans, by the way. These are the crazies. And I will say it, the people on the opposite end demanding Caitlin Clark. I've seen it go as far as people on the opposite end demanding Caitlin Clark refuse or give back the money from Nike. And what was it? It was demanding that she gives back the money from Wilson because they made her the face instead of A'ja Wilson, to refuse the money, and unless they brought in her and A'ja Wilson, to refuse the money. That is another extreme of just idiocy. But if a brand hands you money, you take the money. But at the end of the day, you've seen those type of extremes, and then there's the crazies where they'll go mad at Angel Reese for literally everything she says. And that's where it's people on both sides are looking for social media interviews. The people that are demanding Caitlin Clark says something are doing it so Caitlin Clark says something wrong. A lot of these people could not give a damn. Could not give a damn about Caitlin Clark or Angel Reese, what they do on the floor. They could not give a damn. But what they want is that they hope one of them says something wrong, that they're able to write a hit piece on them, they're able to complain on social media about them, and they're able to use something that they say to try prove the biases that they already have. And this is on both sides. And the fact that Caitlin Clark has basically just said, please stop all this crap, without having even a line in there that can be clipped out of context for the people that hate Caitlin Clark, or hate, I'm not even going to call them the Caitlin Clark haters, people that hate I don't even know what to call them. The crazies on one side. They can't even clip one line out of context to make it seem like Caitlin Clark's the worst person in the world, just like the people on the other side have been able to do with Angel Reese. Because it's if you listen to the full clip of almost anything Angel Reese has said, Angel Reese very rarely says anything wrong. What she says is truthful. Like, for anyone saying, like, people aren't just there to see Caitlin Clark, obviously not. Like, the Chicago Sky gets people watching. The New York Liberty gets people watching. Like, you might be saying, Caitlin Clark is the biggest draw. And you might be saying, but like, oh, but Caitlin Clark gets twice the amount of viewers as Chicago Sky. Yeah, cool. But, like, Chicago Sky, when they're playing the Liberty, gets more viewers than any games last year. So it's like, it's not wrong. Saying that Caitlin Clark is the main draw is not wrong, is correct. But also saying that Angel Reese is a draw, that Serena Ionescu is a draw, that Breanna Stewart is a draw, that AJ Wilson is a draw, that Kelsey Plum's a draw, that Cameron Brink to an extent is a draw. They're all draws. Obviously, Caitlin Clark is the biggest draw, but the league isn't going to grow just because of Caitlin Clark. The league is going to grow because of all these players. And one thing I really dislike is the fact that you're seeing the Breanna Stewarts fall into that trap of, like, they're falling back into the trap of complaining about the fans not liking the product. And whatever about the people, just, again, just the crazies on either side. But, like, there is so many actual just fans of basketball that aren't happy with the product because of the violence. And it's like, for years, the WNBA players were only known for complaining about people that didn't watch, blaming everything other than the product itself. And the problem is that, look, the product is not as fun to watch as college basketball. It's not as enjoyable a basketball game because the enjoyable parts of basketball are being beaten out of people. It's the truth. And now there are some WNBA players falling back into that trap, which is really frustrating because the bigger this league is, the better it is for everybody, the better it is for every player, the better it is for every former player looking to do anything in the future, whether that be coaching, whether that be broadcasting, the better it's going to be for every single future player. Like, the cycle of, I don't want to call it the cycle of abuse, but you guys, it's probably the best, like, analogy I can use. That just needs to stop somewhere. And this here should be it. But when it comes to being interviewed, all of these WNBA players, they've got to be a bit more careful with their words, because you're seeing, again, like, I'm not specifically talking about this social media, but, like, you're seeing the Outkicks of the world, and they're, like, almost not spin-offs, but, like, people that would do something similar. You're seeing a lot of, let's be real, non-sports channels that pretend to be sports channels blowing up, going after the WNBA players. And if you want to look at me, if you want to look at some of my channels, some of my titles, like, you could say, oh, you're doing the same thing. But if you listen to the actual content of the videos, it's very rare that I will criticize anything that's said or done by these players without giving a logical reason why. And my logical reason why is that I do see potential in this league to grow. I'm not going to be out here criticizing, like, what WNBA players say in an interview just to dunk on them, just to say they don't deserve money. It's more so a case of being like, it's right there. The money's there. The league's going to grow. Just be a bit smarter about it. Either way, though, one player that is very smart about what they say is the face, is the player that is going to grow the league. And I really hope that eventually all the circus stops. But at the end of the day, that is the problem. When sports are growing, when people care about the sports, the circus doesn't stop. Either way, that's the video. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.